Alrighty, so let's get into this review. So we're going to start with the loss that I had today, the one loss that I did have, which was on EURUSD. All right. So with EURUSD, what we saw today was this was coming down. First things first, and it took out a higher time frame sell side, which was right here. You see that? So we're taking out a higher time frame sell side, but there's that time element, right? When I say that there's that time element, it is like it's doing in an Asian session, right? So I have an Asian session lows intact when it's taking out this sell side right here. And because I understand in the typical normal environment, that's not the time for that low to be put in. It's an Asian session. It's still got a lot of support right here, being that higher time frame sell side, your USD does. And then it gave it enough fuel to push up into that opposing buy side, as you can see now after the fact. But what I saw here was, all right, we took out that sell side, but it's an Asian session. So I figured, and I was anticipating that this wasn't going to be the end of it. Right here, yeah, I figured that wasn't gonna be the end of it. It was gonna come down, take that out here very, very, very soon. And but first things first, what we see happen is pushing up. It's pushing up off that support. And what we see happen is it comes up and it cleans out Asian session highs. Asian session begins at 19 and then it ends at midnight. So you have that high right here. You see? So we end up coming up. We run out that high right there. It's pushing up, pushing up, pushing up, pushing up. Then I get my anticipated shift right here, which is, so you see fair value gap confirmation. We see strong close in here. See that? And that is what triggered me to go short, of course. Now, it did end up ramping up here, and which is fine because I had a 10 pip rule in that would allow for that. But you can see what happened here was it wanted that buy side. It wanted that higher time frame buy side up above here. That's what it was drawn to because it had that higher time frame sell side. So it basically wanted to match it. It wanted to match it with its higher time frame buy side up above. And again, I was fully aware that that could have happened. So I allowed for the 10 pips. Again, I have a 10 pip rule. For anybody who's confused about the 10 pip rule, I can't have anything less than 10 pips for a stop, and that translates over into profit target as well. Okay. So in a case like that, it allows for wiggle room, but I got stopped out at the top on this thing, like literally, like right at the top. As soon as this thing came up, ramped up, took out these highs, it took me out. And so, you know, sometimes that happens. Like my overall thesis on this thing was correct. I was completely spot on that this thing wanted to head lower, that it wanted to take out these lows. Completely spot on it, but it's just the timing with just the, or like, yeah, just the time was just a little bit off on it. But that's what we saw happen. So basically, it wanted that buy side, and then it took care of that buy side, and then it did end up selling off later, as you can see, and took care of that low as we had anticipated it would. GBPUSD was very similar in this regard, but this one was a winning trade. So on GBPUSD, this one, we had higher time frame sell side as well that was taken right here. No, my mistake. It's not similar in that regard, but this type of setup was, right, like the short setup was. But this thing, GBPUSD, pulled back into this range down to a short-term discount within this new price range, pulled back below 50% equilibrium, and then we had that little push up off a discount marketplace. But I figured it was going to be short-lived, again, for the same reason that I was just talking about on EURUSD was we had Asian session lows down below. So I figured, okay, because it's doing it in an Asian session, it's probably not going to be the ultimate low that's put in here. All right, in a normal environment, it's probably going to take care of that here soon. So what I see happen here is this thing's pushing up into after 3 o'clock, aka London session. It's pushing up, it's making new highs. It cleans out Asian session highs already. It's making a new high of day in here. And then boom, look right here. Fair value gap confirmation right there. Strong close right there. Why is that important? Because that's what I need to see for a high probability shift in market structure. You need to see the liquidity taken. You want to see the fair value gap. You want to see the strong close. I get that shift right there. And what I ended up targeting was low of day sell side down below right there. You got a little 1 hour imbalance right above it too. But I figured it was going to match it with this opposing sell side. That's within that 1 hour discount, but also it's within that 4 hour discount, as I was just talking about a moment ago, because it comes back down into both. And what I'm trying to do there is I'm just taking the low hanging objective. That's what I like to do. I like to take the singles, take the low hanging objectives, be content with that. So I measure out this price range right here, and you can see also it's, of course, in a 4 hour discount. It's moving back down to a discount within that range. Measure that, we have 50%, and it comes back down below in a discount right there. Look, 50%, below 50%. It's in a 1 hour discount. It's in a 4 hour discount. And then what I do is I look in a discount and I see, okay, where is that liquidity? Where is that key liquidity in a discount marketplace, in a cheap marketplace? Because even if I understand that it probably wants to take care of Asian session lows, price, you know, you can expect it to gyrate and do its thing before it does that. It's not like a straight line lower down into the low down here, right? That's typically not how it goes, right? Price is going to work through liquidity. Yeah, it's going to want to take it, but it can do it later on, which it did right here. It did it later on after it matched it with more further buy side. Like, think of it like it needed more fuel, right? But because I want those low hanging objectives, that's just what I like to do. I like to take those singles, as you guys understand. And this is these next key levels in a discount marketplace. So that makes for a good target, because I also understand it's probably gonna, you know, it's gonna bounce there, it's gonna gyrate, it's gonna do its thing, it's gonna want to fight there, right? Which it did. And that's what happened. So you can see, and then it ended up pushing up after cleaning out that sell side for us. So USDJPY was just super clean. So I got a nice buy setup on this scalp play, and then I got a nice short setup. Like, I hit it for a buy setup, then I flipped it, and then I hit it for a short setup, cleaned it out both ways, and I'm going to tell you how I did that, all right? So USDJPY, of course, first things first here. This thing's in a premium on the higher time frame. It's pushing up, all right? We have this really big leg up right here, you see? And it's in a premium, of course, so it's pushing up, it's in a premium. It comes down to a discount right there. And as I was telling my mentees, like, once it does come down to a discount here, that'll be an area where, of course, you could look for a reversal, a buy setup, because it's a really nice level of support. But beforehand, it's overall bearish. Now, again, I still got a buy setup even with it being in a premium. I'll tell you how I came about doing that. But we have this thing in a premium, and then one thing that was really interesting to me right off the bat here is I see this swing high put in. So you look right here, you got the highs in the middle, you got a lower high on the left, you got a lower high on the right. See, you get that swing high right there, you got that right there. And I just talked about this. I just made this video. I made a video on this on the public YouTube really recently about this signature and about how these are where the highest probability shifts are going to occur, is when you have this signature, when you have that fresh swing high put in. It's just so simple. It's just there in plain sight, but it's so powerful too when you have it. That's the thing. Like, you have that third candle draw intact, right? Third candle draw just mean like the low of this third price swing, right? Third candle of the price swing. And then you go in and you study that candle. What you'll see is you got your 1 hour shift in there. And then guess what? You got to pull back into a premium while still having that third candle draw down there, still intact, still valid, you see? But first, before we got that short play, I actually got a long play on it. And I'll tell you how I came about doing that, because even though it's doing a 4 hour premium, when we're having this push lower right here, the 1 hour comes down to a discount, right? Because it's cleaning out sell side. It takes external. It's going to want to do what? It's going to seek internal next, because it creates this internal range liquidity on this push lower right here. Cleans out that sell side, cleans out that sell side. And it creates these inefficiencies in the process. So we understand that that's going to be a draw once you get that change in trend. Excuse me. So to be a draw once we get those change in trend to the upside. So we take out that sell side. And then what I do next after we clean out this sell side right here, and we have this displacement, I've identified my key points of interest. Again, that's all I'm looking for. I'm looking for this imbalance up above. I'm not looking for this thing to come up and take this high off a bullish shift, because it doesn't need to. It's a change in trend. It already has sufficient liquidity up above. It already has the displacement. That wouldn't be a good PT area. All right, off a 5-minute shift, right? So what we see happen here is we have this leg up right here. We get that fair value gap. See that? We get that. I'll note just so we're on the same page here. We got several. We got a couple fair value gaps in there. We can see right there. We get that strong close. And what I wanted to target was this imbalance to rebalance this price action up above. That's it. That's all I want on this thing, because it's overall bearish. And I'm just looking for a little scalp play into that internal range liquidity up above. So it does give me a pullback into 16 where I entered. And then I ended up risking the low right here. And then I end up looking for that push up to rebalance this price action, which it did right before New York session. And then after I exited that long play, I flipped. And now I'm saying, okay, I'm looking for a short now, because the thing is, this is coming up into a premium now, fellas. I was just telling you, on that 1 hour, it had a shift. It had the third, we still have the third candle draw still in play too. Down below, that third candle draw is still in play. You measure this price range out, Fibonacci from high to low, you look at this thing, and guess what? It's in a premium. It's above 50%. It is expensive. It's in an expensive marketplace. You see? So now that it's an expensive marketplace, I can look for a short to take it down to this low. That's what I did. I targeted this low right here, that just to take the low hanging objective, right? And then I risked this high up here. And then look, dumps, cleans it out. So, that one's just clean both ways. It gave a nice little clean little long scalp play up into the internal range liquidity. But then once it comes into a premium, folds, tags, opposing sell side, just really clean all around, right? So that's what we had on it. Now with USDCAD right here, this was a short play in New York session. So this thing came up. This was influenced by news. We get this big push up after it pulled back into a 4-hour discount. We had the news that pushed this thing up to clean out this buy setup above. So it cleans out higher time frame buy liquidity. And not all the times, but many times, that first run that you see from news, many times is a fake run because it's manipulation. And you see this thing manipulate price up higher and to take out this buy side right here. So it's doing a couple things. Yes, it's cleaning out buy side, but it's also creating that opposing sell side to then take later on, right? So we clean out that buy side up above, as you can see. And then once it cleans out that buy side, what I'm doing now is I'm dropping to a lower time frame and I'm looking for a reaction. All right, I'm looking for the elephant to jump in the pool, as ICT says, right? And then we get that displacement right here. I get that big displacement. I get that strong close. I get that fair value gap right there. That's a confirmed bearish shift in market structure. And that's classic ICT 2022 in play right there too. You see that? Comes up into a premium, rebounds to price action. So as I was saying, there's a couple different ways you could approach this. Of course, I like the low hanging objective, right? So I shot for a discount within this previous range because I don't want to hold through New York close or overnight. I just don't like doing that. As I said, you could have held for this, valid. You could have held for that low down there if you wanted to. And it is really fantastic risk reward if you did do that. If you say you don't mind holding overnight or into New York close, right? But what I wanted to do, because I understand, once it comes down to a discount within this range, even being overall bearish on it, you can expect it to fight. And of course, the more you get to New York, the volume's going to slow down. So you're going to get slower price action and it's just going to drain out the clock on me. So right there, I got a discount inside this imbalance. That's what I wanted to target. Just take my simple low hanging objective, take the single, take my money, keep it moving, right? So, and you can see right there, it gives that pullback into a premium. It comes up, rebalances price action, which is where I entered. And then I ended up risking the high. And then I targeted this equilibrium price point down here just to, take it down to a discount. And you could see, as we expected it would do, it started to bounce a bit, right? Because it's coming down within this short-term range back down into a cheap marketplace, and it pushes back up into a premium for a moment. And then, of course, it's expensive again. It gets slammed back down into a discount, cleans out the sell side, and now we're seeing it just slow and gradual move lower, right? But yeah, fellas, that wraps up the review. Hopefully you enjoyed, got immense value, and I will see you later.